Hi everyone, it's Miss Rossi. Today we're going to be creating an abstract image based on the Ndebele House paintings that we looked at earlier. What you'll be needing today is your white piece of paper from your art folder that is labeled House. You can take the label off because we don't need that anymore. You're going to need a pencil to draw with, an eraser, and we're going to need a Sharpie or another black marker to trace our picture with. We're not going to be adding any color today. We will do that next time. So today we got to look at the beautiful artwork of the Ndebele people in South Africa. So they create these amazing abstract paintings on their homes, and we're going to take inspiration from that as we create our own abstract drawing today. So historically speaking, they were creating these abstract paintings after a time of great suffering and grief after war. Now we're going to translate our own feelings and energy to create our own original, unique abstract designs. So right now we are going through some tough times with the pandemic. So I want you guys to use that energy to inspire your work today. So you can choose to create your abstract design based on what you hope to see in post-pandemic life, what you're looking for after we get out of this and everything can return to normal. Maybe you're looking for positivity, togetherness, love, happiness, joy, whatever it is that you're looking forward to after the world returns to normal. Or you can decide to base your abstract picture on how you are currently feeling now within the pandemic. So maybe you want to represent your feelings or emotions that you're going through right now with your picture. Now we're going to be using different symbols and lines and geometric designs similar to the paintings we looked at to represent our own feelings and emotions. So try and think about what kinds of lines or shapes make up the feeling that you are thinking about expressing. So if you're thinking about joy or sadness or anger, whatever it is that you want to express, think about what kind of lines, shapes, and abstract images can help you represent that through symbols. So think about how maybe wavy lines have a different vibe than a spiky line, or how an object on its own might have a different energy or mood than a group of objects or shapes together. You can even create your own little list where you're assigning objects, lines, shapes, images, different feelings or emotions. So maybe you decide that a triangle represents sadness, or a star represents positivity or hope, and you can use that little type of key to develop your own abstract design. So I'm going to be creating my own today. Now yours is going to be totally different than mine, but this is just going to help give you an idea and guide you to creating your own abstract picture based on your own ideas. So I'm going to start by coming up with a central idea that I'm focusing on by picking one of those questions, whether I want to think about post-pandemic life or how I'm feeling right now. I think I'm going to look towards the future, and I'm going to think about what I'm looking forward to or what I'm hoping for after we get out of these tough times. And I'm going to focus on togetherness. So I'm going to start by creating a central image at the center of my paper that I think will represent the idea of togetherness using just shapes and lines. So with my pencil, I'm going to start right at the center of my paper, and I think I'm going to draw a little box towards the center. So I have some place to draw this idea that I want my whole picture to surround. Now, when I think of togetherness, I think of things coming together, linking together, staying clustered as a group. I think I'm going to think about people and togetherness, and I'm going to represent people using a symbol, and my symbol is just going to be a simple circle. So I'm going to start by drawing some circles at the center of my paper. I want to show togetherness, and I'm thinking of things being grouped together, linking together. So I'm going to draw all different sized circles that are connected and linking together as one big group to create this idea of togetherness that I am hoping for once we kind of return to normal and leave pandemic life. So now I didn't draw anything specific that directly shows togetherness. I am just drawing shapes that I think, in my head, help represent this idea. So I'm going to leave that as my central image to go off of, and now I'm going to build off of my design, going out until I reach the edge of my paper. I think I'm going to create a border along the top and bottom. Now you can use a ruler to do any of this. When we were watching those videos, they did not use rulers when they were doing their house paintings. They said that their brain was their ruler. So you can decide if you want to just go for it and try drawing straight lines on your own, or if you want to actually use a ruler to help you create your picture. It's okay if it's not perfectly lined up, if your lines aren't all perfect, that is totally fine. I think I want to show some strength and balance around my togetherness. So I'm going to anchor this within the frame that I just drew with some lines going from the corners and connecting them. And I think I'm going to make some striped designs here to emphasize my togetherness box. So I want my lines to bring your attention to this idea of togetherness and make that kind of like the focus. So once you have your main symbol, you're just going to be adding designs and things that help emphasize it, make it the focus, and also any other little symbols or designs you can think of that will help further your idea that you are trying to portray. Now I want my picture to be symmetrical, so I want it to be the same on both sides. I think that's going to help show that idea of unity and balance and togetherness that I am going for. So I am going to match up my designs on both sides as best as I can. And I want this central image to seem like it is kind of rising up from the ground, and I think creating some big zigzag lines that almost look like pointy arrows is going to help create that sense of rising, sense of growth, sense of moving up. So I'm going to create some zigzag lines that are going up from the bottom, and I'm going to make them coming down from the top. So everything is kind of pointing in that one direction. And the next thing I'm going to do is kind of create some, I think, side designs in my frame here. And then I think I'm going to split up my bottom section with some other lines as well. And I can repeat that on the top because, again, I wanted to keep it the same. So I have a sense of balance and unity throughout my design. Maybe you want yours to be totally different all over the place, and that is okay as well. I think I want to make some ovals. I like to use an oval because it kind of feels like a shape that is morphing and changing, and it can kind of blend and change into anything. So I think that idea of change and transformation is great to go along with what I'm hoping for in the future. And I think I'm going to keep those same oval designs on the sides here as well. I also think using an oval, since I have those circles in the center, is a nice connection shape-wise to make my whole image more cohesive. All right, there we go. Now I finished sketching out my design with my pencil. I'm going to go in with my Sharpie and I'm going to trace over all of my pencil lines. I am going to do quite a thick outline. If you noticed in all of the house paintings that we looked at, there was a very bold, thick outline of black paint in their picture. So I'm going to try and represent that by just outlining over certain spots more and more to make them a little bit bolder, a little bit more darker, and more emphasized. I'm using a Sharpie to trace today, but you can use any kind of marker or pen. We do want to use black today, again, because we want to represent that same kind of style that we looked at already with the house paintings. And that is what my picture looks like all finished. So I went in and I traced all of my pencil lines with my Sharpie. I went over certain sections with a thicker outline where I overlapped that area with a bunch of outlines to make a bolder design. And then I went in with some skinnier lines in other sections, so you can play around with how thick and how thin you want your outline and how that affects your picture. In the center, when I was thinking about that idea of togetherness, I wanted to show strength in being together. So wherever my circles overlapped one another, I made that outline thicker than the areas where they existed on their own. Once you are finished with your project, you're going to save it in your art folder. We are going to finish these next week, so you do not need to hand anything in today. Just make sure you save your drawing in a safe place until next time. Try your best, have fun, and get creative, and I'll see you then. Bye!